any time early in the season. I think the guys will just get comfortable getting in their routine, what's expected of them in terms of their preparation. And I think obviously Saturday will be a big step forward in determining how these guys, how they're going to handle some adversity. If anything, I think that's probably the biggest question mark, is how we're going to handle being in a difficult environment.
That's sort of how you find out who you really are as a unit is facing that adversity.
Well, I don't think it's going to be 1 week. It's going to dictate that. I think it's going to be a product of our work at the end of the year. You know, and each week you have an opportunity to make a statement. And this week will be no different.
Seems like we should probably all be critical for not having longer drives, but then the thought occurs that if it takes 12 plays to score against Presbyterian, you're probably not very good. So, well, but don't you wonder a little bit about, against a good team, about putting together a long scoring drive and picking out spots?
Right. I think the exciting thing to me is that we have a pretty good nucleus of veteran players who have been a part of drives like that. So, you know, winning third down obviously is very important, and that starts with first down efficiency. You know, if we can keep third down there going, you know, it's all those core objectives and goals that we talk about to our players that can allow us to continue drives and keep the drive alive, and then finish it when we get into the red area.
But it's something you need to do, but it's something in 2 games you really haven't had to do.
Right. I think we've had maybe 1 8-play drive or something like that. But I mean, I think it's just a product out of the first 2 games have won more than I do know in scrimmage situations in preseason and spring. We've had several opportunities to do that and have done it and capitalized on it.
What have you seen off of film and watching them maybe last Thursday night that, you know, their defense, what challenges do they present?
I think, you know, just personnel-wise, I think they've got really good players. I think the front guys are long, they're tall, long players. I think they play well, using their length to their advantage. I think they're very experienced at linebacker, even though one of their veterans hasn't been playing. You know, I'm not sure if he's back or not, but I do think that their veteran group, I think even though the guys in the back end maybe have had some injuries, maybe not been there, they have played a lot of football for Auburn. So you're dealing with a pretty savvy veteran group that's been a part of some tough games. And, you know, more than anything, I think they're in their second year with Coach Roof, Coach Chiswick. Obviously, they benefit from that just like we are. And I think that's evident just watching the first 2 games, that they're a little more comfortable with who they are and what they're doing defensively.
Can you take anything from your preparations in the Chick-fil-A Bowl a couple of years ago, or is it just a totally new slate with the regime changes on both sides?
I think it's, you know, it tells you a little bit about Auburn, you know, and the type of fan base and the type of passion that their fans have been a part of that bowl game. So going into their home stadium, it'll be very similar. We won't have as many people, obviously, at the game, but I think it just that familiarized some of our players and our staff, some of the guys that were on that staff. Obviously, a lot of our guys are SEC guys that have come over and are very familiar with Auburn. So I think that would be the only thing to take from that, given that it was 2 completely different staffs.
Expect to have Phillip this week, or do you rep David for some of the right tackle?
All right. I think Phillip's going to go today. Somewhat limited, but he is going to go today, so I don't anticipate any major changes there.
The wide receiver rotation, Jeff said yesterday that it may be Saturday morning before you decide who goes. Is that pretty much still the way it is?
Well, I think at that position we'll continue to play the same group. I think the quantity of snaps, you know, ultimately will be dictated by what we see throughout the week this week. But I do think some of those guys are showing that they're capable, had another good week, and making the layups. I guess that's the way I would describe it. And hopefully we'll continue to whittle that lineup down and develop some more continuity as we go. But I do think at this point we'll continue the way we had in the first 2 games.
How important do you think it'll be to control the clock against these guys, just to keep their quarterback off the field and stuff?
I think that is a factor. You know, I think that goes back to what you mentioned earlier about numerous play drives. You know, if you can, and it's a dual-edged sword to some degree. Not only is their offense not on the field, but our defense is not on the field, and their defense is on the field. So, and that's a factor in each game you play, but in particular with this group, I think making sure our defense, given the volume of plays that they may have to play, I think if you can control that, that's going to help you in the long run.
That doesn't change your game plan in terms of the kind of plays you want to run right now.
Right. No, I don't think so.
It's the same.
Yeah. But I think the emphasis has got to be on execution, and it's got to be on that same set of core objectives and goals that you feel like are the ingredients for winning football each week. And I think our guys know that. We'll be obviously in our 3rd week, so we know that all those can become critical.
Just given the atmosphere and the environment you're going into, you know, how much does it help to have Kyle back and with a year of experience under his belt?
Yeah, I think that there's no question. You know, in particular at that position, in every position to some degree, but in particular at that position, I think it's extremely important that he's been there. He knows what to expect. He can visualize what it's going to be like. He can take this week of preparation and apply that to what that game environment's going to be like. And as a player, he can anticipate problems within each scenario, each play. And, I think it's a huge advantage, given that he's a veteran guy.
Probably has a sort of a calming effect on the rest of the guys too, just knowing that he's been there before.
Well, we've got a pretty veteran group overall, guys that have been a part of games like this in the past. So I think, like any other game, having him back is obviously our kids are confident in him and how productive he can be.